This is amazing. A Democrat state representative is actually crediting President Trump for saving her life. And all this is the coronavirus appears to have peaked worldwide. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. That's right. We've got some really good news coming down the pike here. Not only is a Democratic representative destroying the lies of the mainstream Marxist media, but it does appear that the coronavirus has in fact begun to recede. I think you're going to really love this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here. Great to be with you as always. I hope you're all having a safe and sound, lovely lockdown Tuesday. If this is your first time here at this channel, we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events, some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'll be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel. You're going to love interacting with this online community of conservatives from all over the world. And, finally, in these crazy and unprecedented times, death in the family can be hard, but unfortunately, we all have to deal with it sooner or later. And one of the things we have to deal with is the simple fact that all of us leave behind final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. In fact, I don't know if you know, but the average funeral loan is between $8,000 and $9,000. So what that means is that having no insurance when you die can actually leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with. And obviously, no one wants to deal with that. But you can take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction that they will be financially taken care of. So make sure to click on the link below and visit ratefamily.com and get a free quote. No waiting periods, 100% benefits. Even if you've been turned down before, they guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter the situation. It's true. They guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter the situation. It's absolutely wonderful. So don't wait. Click on that link below and visit ratefamily.com or just simply give them a call at 1-855-919-RATE, R-A-T-E. You'll be glad that you did. All right, let's dive right in here. Really interesting stuff. As you know, the mainstream Marxist media, the pro-Beijing, pro-Marxist media, has consistently been applying a bifocal interpretation of the events surrounding the government's handling of the coronavirus. They're not just doing it with President Trump. They're also doing it, as we reported in a previous video, they're doing it as well with Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro. And this bifocality involves creating a split, a chasm between the nationalist populist leader, in this case, President Trump or Bolsonaro, on the one side, and his health experts on the other. Only the health experts are allowed to speak from within such a dichotomous bifocality. Only the so-called experts, health experts, are allowed to recommend and prescribe and guide. The president, right, the nationalist populist conservative president, he just needs to stand there and shut up. He is totally and completely unqualified to be giving anything even remotely resembling a medical advice to anyone, let alone an entire nation. He just needs to stand there and shut up. In fact, it would be better if he wasn't there at all. If he wasn't present at the press briefings, he should just disappear from this entire process, as well as to just try to clean up his incompetent mistakes, right? Sound familiar? That's been the mainstream Marxist media's paradigm from day one of this crisis. That, by the way, every single one of them downplayed. Remember in late January when President Trump issued a travel ban from China in response to this? In the midst of their accusations of xenophobia and racism, this mainstream Marxist media, this slew of left-wing activists disguised as journalists, were far more interested in impeachment, which was going on with the Senate trial at the time. They were far more interested in that than they were in the coronavirus pandemic. Nevertheless, that's the paradigm. That's the framework that they've been operating from, this superimposed left-wing chasm between the nationalist and populist president on the one side and way over here, health experts on the other. Well, now we have a bit of a chink in the armor of that framework, a major one, in fact. A Democrat state representative from Michigan is crediting both hydroxychloroquine and President Trump for saving her life after she tested positive for the coronavirus. Representative Karen Whitsett said that she began to feel relief from her symptoms less than 2 hours after taking the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine, touted not only by President Trump, but also Elon Musk of Tesla as well. The Democratic lawmaker said that she would never have thought of taking chloroquine if she hadn't heard Trump championing it during his daily briefings. Briefings, I might add, that have since been in effect canceled by the fake news outlets CNN and MSNBC, both of which now refuse to show the daily live press briefings. But as this Democratic representative noted, her taking the anti-malaria medication had a lot to do with President Trump's touting of it, since he's the only one, according to her, who has the power to make the medication a priority. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The reason why President Trump is so instrumental in all this for this Detroit Democrat was because her state, Michigan, had more or less banned hydroxychloroquine. The state blocked it. So she had to especially request it, but she did so only after hearing about it from President Trump himself. Now, to be fair, we don't know that it was the chloroquine that made the difference. She may have been predisposed to recovery already. Fair enough, full disclosure. But it certainly didn't hurt her. And it brought her clearly a lot of hope to fight off the virus, which she successfully did. God bless her. So talk about a major chink in the armor of the mainstream Marxist media. Here you have a Democratic state representative crediting both President Trump and hydroxychloroquine for saving her life. Amazing, amazing stuff. And this is all coming on the heels of what does indeed look to be the virus's peak. Globally speaking, coronavirus cases are now down 16% as of April 4th and 15% as of April 5th, which of course is wonderful news. Here in the States, both California and New York are reporting a significant slowing down in infection rates. In New York in particular, diagnosed infections are rising at a slower pace than before the government issued stay-at-home orders. It's gone from a high of 118% between March 17th and March 18th to now down to a mere 9%, around 13%. So a massive slowdown, which is very, very good to see. It's the same with Italy and Spain. They're beginning to see significant slowdowns there as well. In fact, in Italy, their daily coronavirus death tolls dropped to its lowest point in the past 2 weeks, thankfully. Spain reported 637 new deaths as of yesterday, Monday, which was down from 674 the previous day and downwards to nearly 1,000 on Thursday of last week. So it does appear that we're seeing the virus's peak and we're all beginning to move downward. Now, unfortunately, here in the Philly area where I am, we still are experiencing an increase in growth rates, but we'll see. There is something called Farr's Law. Are you familiar? We've talked about it before. It's spelled F-A-R-R, Farr's Law. Farr's Law states that epidemics tend to rise and fall in a roughly symmetrical pattern or bell-shaped curve. So we saw this with AIDS and SARS and Ebola. And so there's a rising period where the number of cases rises, and then it peaks, and then it begins coming down. And so we saw this, of course, with China. We're seeing it now with Europe. We saw it in South Korea and Taiwan, where, you have this bell curve. The cases rise over a period of time, they peak, and then they subside. That's the basic pattern. So we appear now, globally speaking, to be in the midst of a peak and slowing down of new cases and new deaths. But of course, we'll be keeping an eye on how things develop here. But in the meantime, it does appear that the worst is finally over. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on the media's total fail. The left-wing activists disguised as journalists can't believe that the American population are actually rallying around President Trump. I think it's going to absolutely make your day. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.